Okay, ladies first.
Betul.
Nama saya, my name is Ahmad Nabil bin Mat Rosli. I'm a psychiatrist, lab medicine. This is my second year working in UAE lah. Previously, I studied in IIUM as an undergraduate, and then I did my master in UKM lah.
I'm Dr. Reminisce Afandi. I'm the histopathologist. Just newly graduated. My undergrad I did in UIA, IIUM, and then I did my master in UKM. So I finished my assignment. I just recently started working in MC and also teaching you guys.
Sama, copy paste.
Both of us were in the same batch, so we are both in 9th batch. So despite being in the same class, I never talked to him. He's not the kind of guy that I look for. I think our path never crossed. And so until year 1, until year 4, we pass each other, but that's it. But until year 4, when we both got into orthopedic posting in the same group, then we got to know each other. Then he approached, and yeah, things start from that. It was made easy, and then yeah.
It was made easy because I did the work. So I was appointed as the group leader. We have small group in that particular posting. So I was a group leader. So there were 4 or 5 of us in that group, and I wasn't a good student. So if you know Mr. Hafiz, he asked me to present a few more extra cases to Khairunisa because she was good. So I had to present cases instead to the lecturer, but to my wife. At that time, not yet lah. That's how I got to know Khairunisa. And then, how should I see whether this is appropriate or not? That's all.
We've got to know each other during ortho posting in 4th year. That was 2009. And then after knowing each other for about 6 months, we've got engaged in early 2010, and we got married right after our professional exam. Our final professional exam, that was in June 2010. So we've been married for almost 9 years.
We didn't attend our annual grand dinner because we got married at that time.
Yeah. So we got married before we start our housemanship. I would like to divide this into during houseman, during MO-ship, and then during our master program.
Typical doctor. You have to divide the course into.
Okay, so during housemanship, both of us are still newlywed, no children yet. So I think both of us are very eager to start work. So I think there's not much of a problem like balancing between family and work because both of us are working as doctors. So both of us understand our work need. So I think not much of difficulty during that time. It's just that we were not in the same posting, so we have different on-call time. There was one time when we were on-call alternately, so I on-call today, he's on-call tomorrow, then on-call the next day. So like we didn't really meet each other for like a week. Lucky that we work in the same hospital, so we did meet during lunch, or just drop by the ward and say hi. So yeah, but thank God because we work both as doctors. And then when we start MO-ship, when we finish housemanship, he immediately joined master program. That would be a different story. So when I did my MO, it is a bit more leisure because initially it was bad because I was in medical, but having Dr. Nabil, he was very supportive. It was a very bad situation when I did my MO-ship. It was so busy, so he sent me to work at 7 and he picked me up at 8 or 9 p.m. every day. So when I'm on call, he will come and stay with me in my on-call room. So although I'm busy running around, he will just wait and sleep in my on-call room. So I know that he's there. physically and emotionally supportive. So I think I'm thankful for that. I was pregnant at that time, so yeah, thank God he's there. So he bought me food and teman and things like that. So
You already rehearsed this thing,
no. And then yeah.
So the point that maybe we can share is that as a husband and wife studying at the same time working, and later on we had 2 kids. So the thing is to be able to be flexible and to sacrifice the conventional family system. You have husband and wife. That husband has to be the breadwinner, the wife has to be the housewife to take care of the family and home. But in our case, both are working, both are earning money, so you can't expect high expectation of each other. So we have to be flexible. Sometimes I have to do what the wife usually does, and then sometimes she has to do what man usually does lah. So we have to be flexible, we have to sacrifice. Sometimes yes, we brought our work home, but then we felt guilty. Sometimes we had to delay it, spend time with our kids, and then woke up early and do our job and study. So that's the thing, that how do we manage our time lah. Having that said, we're not perfect, right? So we are still struggling as a specialist, still struggling to manage our time, to have a quality life with my wife and kids.
There's really like pro and cons lah. Not really pro and cons. Jodoh, I mean, if your jodoh is non-medical, then what? But looking at it, we met couples which are married, doctor marriage, that it was not successful. It's not just one case. There are few cases where doctor marriage ended with divorce. We also see some doctor and non-medical marriage that lasts long and doing good and fine and happy. So I think the most important thing is you have to find a spouse that can understand your work and that gives you space, that allows you to do and achieve things. I mean, you studied so hard, then you get married with someone that expect you to be a housewife, expect you to cook, expect you to look after the kids. Too high of expectation lah. Having a very high expectation, then it's not good in marriage, I think, because then you tend to look and find faults later. So the most important, find a good and understandable spouse, and then a responsible spouse. So inshallah, the marriage will last long. Pray to God that the marriage lasts long.
I just want to add something to that. Talking about divorce among couples who are doctors, kan? So that can be a misleading statement lah, because in general, the rate of divorce of course is increasing, and it happened that our circle of friends, many of them are doctors. So that's the reason why we are seeing this. One of the advantage of having wife and husband doctors is that you can relate well lah, the nature of work, to be to have empathy and understand the nature of work semua tu. But then if you go for a holiday, for instance, the topic of discussion will be just the same. She'll be talking about his slides and I'm talking about my patient. So that's one of the disadvantage now. Yeah, I think, yeah. I suppose I have to answer this first. I'm a psychiatrist and I'm seeing cases, see couples with emotional problems. I mean, relationship issues and also emotional disorder, mood disorder and whatnot. I can advise them, I can diagnose them with depression, stress and etc. But to be able to be a psychiatrist at home, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way because we've been knowing each other for quite some time, and sometimes it is actually difficult to deal with your own family members ataupun spouse in this case. So sometimes, as a psychiatrist, I tend to bring the psychiatric mind home. So I tend to analyze, I tend to see things beyond what is apparent, and that is not good. That is not good. So sometimes she would correct me what to do. Sometimes she told me that, hey, you must give me some space. So I realized that thing, so I have to be tolerant. I have to tolerate her. I have to give her some space and start to preach, start to practice what I preach lah to my patients. Do you want to say something?
So when we have stress at work, so we just need to tell people what we feel. I mean, tell someone how we feel, how bad our day is. Yeah, I think being doctors, then I am able to tell him. But when we start our master program, he's dealing with his psychiatry things. I'm dealing with pathology things. So sometimes the things that we tell each other, sometimes macam not really. It just like pass through from one ear to another ear. But what I think the most important is to lend your ears now and shoulder and to being able to be present. I mean, sometimes we are busy. He has problems, I have my own problems. So we have to tell each other like, Bang, I need to talk. Or like he will say, Shah, I need someone to listen now. So like, and then okay, it's time to shut off everything else and start to listen.
My advice to all medical students: one, your job here now is to study, not to get married. Say something.
Okay, don't rush into marriage. I mean, even if you have boyfriends, don't rush. Wait. When the right times comes, then okay, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get married during student life, but being single allows you to do a lot more things. You are free to study, you have no responsibilities, you just have to focus on yourself and your parents first. So don't rush.
One of the reasons given by students to get married during student life is to avoid zina. Right? I'm telling you that marriage wouldn't solve that problem. There are many people who are already married but get involved with zina. So yes, marriage could solve partly the problem, but if you don't change yourself, you're gonna bring that problem into marriage. So that thing doesn't solve the problem. And whether or not I condone doctors' marriage, I leave it to you to decide. I would advise you to explore your own wife to be, to treasure them, to understand them better, to understand their personality before you get married. And that's the most important thing, because you are going to live with that person for the rest of your life. Because you are going to live with that person for the rest of your life.